Greetings from Lake Minocqua and the town of Minocqua in northern Wisconsin. Here is a tour of the Stulp compound. We're looking out on Lake Minocqua. Down here is this boat dock for the Stulp home. Across the waterway there, this is a little passage of water. I think this is actually a river bed that comes through here and makes these lakes. I don't know the river though. Anyways, across over there, all that land used to belong to the Stulp family. Been passed down through to my friend Marvin, who now is the co-owner of. Well, anyway, that land across the way over there is part of the wealth of the Stulp family. They have sold those bits of property a little bit by a little over the years, but they still own this property with these boat docks and this lovely lakeside cabin or lake house. Incidentally, this is me, Chuck, now known as Jarvis, but at the time that I got to know Marvin back in 1982, I was known as Chuck. And this lake house, I've stayed with Marvin here on several occasions, and I would be on this occasion, but because he co-owns this with some cousins, this is not his month. It's August 2017. This is not his month to use the cabin, so his cousin is staying there. Instead, Marvin also has this motor home that he stays in on occasion when he needs to, and that's where he and I, as bachelors, are roughing it. He's in there getting spruced up, taking a shower for our evening outing. We're going to go out to a nice dinner. This is his van. So the van stays here in northern Wisconsin. The only vehicle that he moves back and forth. He winters in Florida, summers in Wisconsin. What an enviable life, hey? So this big motor home is the vehicle that makes the trip back and forth. Once it's parked, it stays put, and we got the sun right in our eyes. There's my rental car, a little Nissan Sentra, and there's his kayak. He's quite an active guy, and that's pretty much the compound. And what a beautiful location for a lake house, wouldn't you say?
And now we continue our tour from inside the motorhome. This is the cozy and quite livable space, but cozy is the word. That's where I slept up there. Here's where Marvin enjoys watching his TV shows on computer disc, and the comfy, tiny little kitchen. Marvin's very comfortable bedroom back here. This is the shower. This is how you bathe in this place. It's very, as Marvin pointed out, it's very elderly friendly. It's impossible to fall in this thing. All you do is end up leaning. So, and then on the other side, nice little bathroom. Your toilet and your sink, a little nightlight on there, and here's the mirror, and there's me holding the camera in front of the mirror. Let's see if I can squeeze in here and get myself. There we go. Hello to the camera, I should say. And then we can look outside. There's my rental car with the trunk open because I'm loading up, getting ready to head out. And here's a view of the front of the motorhome. Of course, it's parked and all closed up right now. Marvin, actually, this is the vehicle that he drives from Wisconsin to Florida and back. And then once he gets to either destination, he parks it in Florida. He doesn't live in here, but up here in Wisconsin, because he shares this property with his cousins. So they're up there. We can just step outside. Very tricky to get out there. So you can see there's the cabin, the lake house up there. Marvin's van, his kayak. So with the lake right there. Very delightful to get up in the morning and step outside to pine trees and a lake. A person could do a lot worse. We are now departing Marvin's place, and this is what it looks like. We
come out this dirt road across a wood bridge, which he drives his motorhome over. That would make me a little nervous. And you can see this, you really get back in the woods when you go to visit Marvin's place. There are some other houses back here now. All of this, the land around on either side of this dirt road used to belong to the Stolp family. And in a moment, you'll see that this very road is named after the family. We are on Stolp Drive. It's a dirt road, but how many people do you know have a road named after them, you know? So we get up here to the highway, and I'll show you. You can see there we are on Stolp. Is it? Yeah, Stolp Road. Pretty cool, huh? So, back onto this road. This is gonna take us into Minocqua. And it's actually a pretty good ways, about a good 2 miles or more. So I'm gonna stop recording and resume when we get to the main highway. All right, now we're coming up on Highway 51. This is the main artery right up through the middle of Wisconsin. It's enough of a main main artery that they've actually made it an interstate just a little way south of here. So it's Interstate 39 until you get just 20 miles south of here, and then it becomes just Highway 51. And here we are coming into Minocqua proper. Right up to the side here is the Yacht Club. That's where Marvin plays on every Saturday and Sunday. And then look at this spectacular drive. As you come in, you go over a bridge with the lake, Lake Minocqua, on either side. And you come into this extremely charming northern village, which has changed over the years, but unlike some other places, other tourist places, it's changed gradually. It's not like they had a sudden burst of activity and it became an unfamiliar place overnight. So a lot of what's here has been here as long as I can remember, and that's 30 years. So been coming up here quite a long time. I just love this little town. It's very charming. And down these side roads, down almost every little side road, you go a little ways and you'll find a tavern. That's the way Wisconsin is laid out. You just got taverns sprinkled all over the place, and they have the feel of a neighbor's house. You just go to a tavern, and that's the lifestyle here. You go and sit at a tavern and have a few beers. So we come around downtown, and you can see here, I whacked my camera, I almost knocked it onto my hand. Here we have more of the lake on the left side and the right side. It's just the town is built kind of on top of the lake, more or less. Coming up here on the right, Verizon Wireless. Why do I bring that up? Because I went and left my cell phone charger in Nashville, or I don't know, somewhere, and thank goodness Verizon Wireless had an old they looked at my camera and everybody laughed, but they did have an adapter for the old charger for my camera. Alright, so now we're coming up on the north end of town. Obviously all kinds of boating supply places, lots of hotels and restaurants. It's a very, very touristy area. We're here, this is August 9th. that I'm here today. A month from now, hardly any of this traffic will be here anymore. It's just, everybody resumes their lives. The tourists go home. But right now, we're still even though school has started in most areas around here, that's still very busy with tourists and lots of activities going on. So that's, well, I'm going to leave this on, let this roll a little bit longer until I get to Perkins. I don't know what the heck is the matter with my head this trip. I left my cell phone charger in Nashville. I was just now at Perkins to get some coffee, and went into the bathroom to wash up my hands and took my watch off and left my watch at Perkins. My nice gold watch. Criminy, what the hell's the matter with where's my head at? Oh, I don't need to keep running. So anyway, I'm headed for Perkins, going to pick up my watch and get back on the road and head south, and we're going to check out the Wisconsin Dells. Who knows where my life is going to go from here, but how many times have I said that before? Farewell from Minocqua, Wisconsin. Now we're driving along the Highway 47 between Minocqua and Rhinelander, and we're coming along here in the lake. Well, you can't all trees right now, but there's lake off to the side over here beyond those trees. That's important because yesterday Marvin and I came down here on his boat on the lake, and we came to this little town, Lake Tomahawk, and you'll see the sign off to the left there shows boat landing. So down that road over there is where we came in on his boat, and we walked up to the street level here and walked along this sidewalk past Bitters and Bulls. That's they say scratch kitchen and craft cocktails, and we noticed that they must have got a bargain on having their logo put on every single window on the cafe, and we're still not sure why the heck they named the place Bitters and Bulls, but Marvin thinks maybe bitters because you use bitters to make certain drinks, and bull because people go in there and shoot the bull. So here's a Paul Bunyan chair in front of a place where you can do handcrafted furniture. We walked past there. We walked past this little village cafe here, little tiny joints, it's just the charm of this town. And then we stopped in that pub right there. Let's see if I can turn around. That little pub right there, which has been owned and operated by the same guy. It's an elderly man in there bartending, and he said he's had that place for 41 years. I counted exactly 10 stools around the bar, no other chairs, but there was a pool table. And when we walked in at 3:30 in the afternoon, there were 7 people in there just sitting there. This is the Wisconsin culture. That's how they socialize. Just go hang out at the tavern, and it's just a tiny little place. It is wonderment to me that these places stay in existence. Anyway, so that is the entire town of Lake Tomahawk, Wisconsin, which people like Marvin come over and visit by driving their boat to it, or you can drive a car to it if you're a tourist like me who's just up here visiting. Now we return. We're back on Highway 47 towards Rhinelander, and it's starting to rain a little bit. So return when we get to resume when we get to Rhinelander. Here we are coming into downtown Rhinelander, Wisconsin. I don't remember this gigantic flagpole. That's kind of a cool thing. And we're turning onto Brown Street. This is the main drag. And here on the right are these old buildings. And the 4-story one up there, slightly ahead. Let's see. Or is it? It's this one right here. This was the Finland Hotel. And that's, well, it's along here. God, this is such powerful memories.
because this was it. This was my hangout right here. And here it is. This is the 4-story building. This was the Finland Hotel. I'm going to stop in there and check it out here in a little bit. Over here on the left, and I'm amazed that it's still here, is a liquor store. House of Spirits, liquor for less. I'm going to stop in there and see if they still carry Rhinelander beer. Right here is the movie theater, the State Movie Theater, where I saw a couple of flicks. That's where I saw my first horror movie. And it really disturbed me. Now I see horror movies and I think nothing of it, but I was only 23 years old at the time, and horror movies were still kind of yucky. And, you know, we're going to come around the backside. This is Stevens Street back here, and you'll see where we used to park. The back of the hotel shared a parking lot with a bank, and if you parked in the wrong spot, and it was hard to tell in the wintertime because of the snow, but those sons of bitches would have a tow guy come over and tow your car out of their lot. And there's just this little space between buildings here, but it's obviously still there. Associated Bank. So this parking lot right here, that's the back of the Finland Hotel right there, that red building. So some of these spaces were bank only, and they had a real jerk in town who was the tow truck guy, and that's how he made his living, by pulling people out of their parking lot. And then I want to continue down this street because this McDonald's it's still here. I used to walk over here and get McDonald's, but I particularly remember in the winter time, at Christmas time, they had an eggnog shake, and I must have drunk 20 of those in the month of December of 1982. Most of this is very much as I remember it, even though that's been 35 damn years ago. It's just astonishing that I remember this. Some buildings are new, like you can see right here. That's new. But most of the buildings, and this is not a big town. In fact, the town has actually shrunk a little bit. The population was 8,200. Now the population is 7,800 something. So they've lost about a little over 300 people. But I so well remember, especially right here, Brown Street. And then across over there you can see there's a hodag, that brown creature. The Rhinelander hodag is their iconic mythical creature. It's not a real animal, and there's a whole history of stories behind that. But it's the whole town of Rhinelander identifies with the hodag. Okay, so I'm going to pull in and stop here and walk around and really enjoy some memories. Here's another view of the State Movie Theater. It looks closed. I don't know, but this is downtown Rhinelander, Wisconsin. That just may be how it looks, but I don't know. You can see there's no posters or signs for current movies showing, and it appears that the windows and that's this old-fashioned movie theater right there in the middle. You can see that was the ticket booth, but it looks like it's boarded up, so that's a shame. Although you can see the sidewalks and the street have been recently redone. It's a new sidewalk over there. The street appears to be recently paved. Right here's an insurance company with a hodag out front. They really do this hodag thing up, don't they? I specifically remember this nice little park area right here was not here. This was all parking lot, and this building was here. I think it might have been some kind of grocery store or something, but this was all parking lot. And I distinctly remember on the corner of this parking lot was a phone booth. Why do I remember that? Well, this is before cell phones, and I didn't even have a phone in my room. So if I wanted to make calls, I would walk up to the phone booth right here. Yeah, I called my folks. I remember calling Roxanne from this phone booth right here to let her know when I was driving down to Chicago to hang out with Roxanne and her family. And there it is, the Finland Hotel, that red building right there.
And I'm going to walk over and see what it is now. And right here is Liquors for Less. They ought to update their sign a little bit. Man, this place looks kind of rough. But it appears to be. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's not still open because there's a real estate sign. Well, let's find out. Let's walk over here and see if this is still open. Please use side entrance. Great. House of Spirits, Rhinelander. Refreshing as Wisconsin's Northwoods. That's the Rhinelander beer sign. I wonder if they still carry Rhinelander beer. This is going to be amazing. Okay, we're stepping. Let's walk right here. Take a look at this place. This is cooler wood. They definitely have Leinenkugels. This is cooler wood. Man, this is like stepping back into, well, the 1980s, but it's also like stepping back into the 1940s. This is so great. Okay, and yes, they have Rhinelander beer. Thompson Lake. The lake is Thompson Lake, and the lodge is Pinewood Lodge, and I found it. I cannot believe I found it. Look at those gorgeous little cabins. One of these winters, I want to come up and stay in one of those cabins and have a very nice Christmas memory to make from that. Okay, this is fantastic. I just can't believe I'm actually here. I was here. This is August 19. This is August 2017. I first came here September 1982. 35 goddamn years ago. And look at this fabulous lake. It's actually surprisingly hot today, and the sun is really bearing down, which is kind of unusual, but right down there, about the fourth hotel room down, probably about where the umbrella is right there, that was my hotel room, which I got in trade with the Yellow Pages advertising. Stayed here about 2 weeks. And ever since then, I have thought, because I came back out here when my sister came up to visit that year, would have been like January of '83, I guess. And we came down here and walked out onto that lake. It's the first time we'd ever walked out on a frozen lake. And I remember thinking, that is all surrounded by snow. Look at that cabin down there, right on the lake. But in the wintertime, it's so charming. I thought how cool it would be to have a winter excursion there. All right, so let's walk back up here and find out, get some information about this.